I've always suspected that Manhattan's golden boy had a problem, downstairs. After all, we'd been married for 2 years as part of a family arrangement, and he'd never once touched me. I vented to my best friend, who also happens to be my sister-in-law. I think your brother, has performance issues. Wouldn't you know it, that very night, said Golden Boy pinned me against the bedroom door. His voice was husky as he pulled my hand lower and lower. Where's the problem? Why don't you help me find out, darling? I'm the wife of one of Manhattan's elite heirs. On the outside, my life is glamorous, but in reality, I suspect my husband can't perform in the bedroom. We've been in this arranged marriage for 2 years, and he's never laid a finger on me. So, with him away on a business trip and me feeling miserable, I dragged my best friend and sister-in-law, Lily, to a bar to drown my sorrows. The club was thrumming with a restless energy. Lily and I clinked our glasses, savoring a rare moment of freedom. Wait, you're telling me you've been married this long and you still haven't consummated it? She shrieked in disbelief. A couple of cocktails had me feeling fuzzy. I let out a soft sigh. What can I do? I think your brother, well, he might have a problem in that department. And here I am, a woman with a healthy appetite. The words had barely left my lips when Lily's face grew serious. But before she could respond, a low voice cut through the noise. Is this how you look after your sister-in-law when I'm not around? The sound sent a jolt through Lily. She shot up stiffly, staring at the impossibly handsome face of the man in the flashing lights. Julian, bro, what are you? Seeing how rigid she was, I wobbled to my feet. My eyes landed on the man standing across from her. How dare he give my bestie a hard time? I was about to give him a piece of my mind, but the second I saw his face, I changed my tune. I've always had a soft spot for a handsome face. And this guy's looks were off the charts. But for some reason, he felt familiar. I swayed on my heels, adjusted my strapless mini dress, and sauntered toward him. Hey handsome, all alone? You look a lot like a friend of mine. His name is Julian. Seeing me walk right up to the guy, Lily took a step back, looking like she was about to cry. Bro, Chloe, she really hasn't had that much to drink. Oh really? A faint, unreadable smirk played on the man's lips. Not much? Next thing I knew, Julian was carrying me out of the club. Still in a daze, I kept mumbling, my husband is just as handsome as you. Too bad he can't, Julian, Lily began, trying to explain. The man's lips pressed into a thin line, his chiseled face even more inscrutable. After a few seconds, his deep voice broke the silence. Since you seem to enjoy spending your money on such trivial matters, you can forget about your allowance for the next 6 months. Bro, Lily wanted to plead her case, but the icy aura emanating from him forced her to retreat. On the way to the car, his strong hand held my waist steady. How much did you drink? I let out a little burp and cheekily started rubbing against his chest. Not much, just half a bottle. Not only was he gorgeous, but this body was incredible too. Just like that elite heir husband of mine. I'd accidentally caught a glimpse of Julian getting out of the shower once, and I imagined his chest would feel just like this. Hee hee. Lily sat in the back, doing her best to become invisible. I was about to get a little more handsy when he firmly grabbed my hand. Sit still. I pouted. I didn't want to, but under the pressure of his powerful presence, I had to obey. After we got out of the car, the man shot a stern look at his sister. Lily understood immediately, scurrying into the house and straight to her room with a serious, obedient expression. I was practically leaning my entire body against Julian, my hands roaming restlessly across his firm chest. It felt amazing. I wobbled as he led me back to our room. Once inside, Julian tossed me onto the bed. My body bounced twice on the soft mattress. Just then, a sliver of my lost sanity returned. I looked blearily at the man in front of me. Isn't this the handsome guy from the bar? Why did he come home with me? I sat up, suddenly flustered, and tried to push him away. "You should go. My husband will be back soon." Julian was like a robot, programmed to come home at the exact same time every day, without fail. Hearing my words, he let out a short, sharp laugh. "I am your husband." I burst out laughing at his cryptic statement. "Don't be ridiculous. How could you be him? He would never come find me at a club himself." Just as I was about to turn away, his hand shot out and grabbed mine, boldly placing it flat against his solid chest. Even through the fabric, I could feel the hard lines of his muscles and a scorching heat. My heart hammered as I tried to pull my hand back, but his grip was ironclad. His voice grew raspy as he guided my hand lower. "Where's the problem? Why don't you help me find out?" I blinked, my mind still fuzzy. The man in front of me, from his face to his voice, was identical to Julian. But the things he was doing now were things Julian would never do. I took a deep breath, trying to calm myself. As a married woman, there are some lines you just can't cross. I shook my head firmly. "You're not him. He would never offer himself up like this. Even when I threw myself at him, Julian would never be this proactive. So this person couldn't possibly be him." Julian looked at me, a mixture of anger and amusement on his face. "You're that sure?" His dark eyes scanned me from head to toe. I suddenly felt self-conscious and tried to cover myself up, but I couldn't cover everything. What are you looking at?" He chuckled. "Since you don't think I'm him, why not conduct a thorough inspection and find out for yourself?" He had a point. This way, I could get handsy with him and have a perfectly good excuse. My hand slowly traced a path from his sharp jawline, down to his sexy Adam's apple, across his firm chest, and all the way to his chiseled V-lines. The breathing above me grew heavier. "Are you done feeling me up?" I wasn't quite finished. It seems it really is him." He hooked my chin with a long finger, forcing me to meet his gaze. "Chloe, say my name again." Those dark eyes were like bottomless pits, threatening to pull me in completely. I sucked in a sharp breath. "Julian." After getting the confirmation he wanted, a storm of kisses fell upon me. When I opened my eyes the next day, my whole body felt like it had been run over by a truck, sore and achy all over. Ugh. I groggily opened my eyes. Fragments from last night flooded my mind, the steamy scenes making my cheeks burn. The soreness in my body quickly told me something was wrong. My first thought was of Lily, who had gone out with me. I fumbled for the phone on my nightstand and called her. "Lily," when I woke up, my body felt weird. It's like I was with someone all night, but I'm clearly in my own room. "Do you think I was just having a dirty dream?" But why would a dream make my whole body hurt? There was a short gasp from the other end of the line, followed by a calm reply. "I don't think it was a dream. I think something really happened." Panic set in. What? I'm a married woman. Did I accidentally cheat? Lily's voice came again, unnervingly calm. "My brother came home last night." I couldn't believe my ears. I raised my voice. "What did you say?" It wasn't until she repeated it that I knew I hadn't misheard. In that moment, I froze. So those heated memories from last night were real. Julian slept with me because he heard me say he had performance issues? So, whose fault is this, exactly? I dawdled in my room, and only after I washed up did I finally drag myself downstairs. As soon as I reached the bottom of the stairs, I saw him, that perfectly sculpted face, bathed in the morning sun. He was just sitting there, doing nothing, yet he was utterly mesmerizing. A hot meal was already laid out on the table. I stopped in my tracks. He had obviously noticed me. His gaze drifted toward me, and his lips moved. "Come eat." Seeing how calm he was, I suddenly felt like all my mental gymnastics had been incredibly dramatic. I put on my signature smile. Okay. I looked at the steaming food in front of me, then at the handsome man across the table. It still felt a little surreal. Julian and I had been married for 2 years, and for 2 years, he'd shown no intention of touching me. But last night, the moment he got back from his trip, he broke his streak all because I said he couldn't perform. Isn't that a little rash? My mouth twitched. I decided to test the waters. Why are you back so suddenly? Even the way Julian ate was a pleasure to watch. Work has been busy. I just wrapped things up out of state, so I figured I'd take a break. His words made me freeze. A cold sweat broke out across my body. Could it be, because he slept with me last night, he's staying here now to figure out how to dissolve our marriage? After breakfast, I quickly made an excuse to leave. I just remembered I have something I have to do today. As I spoke, I eagerly grabbed my small handbag and headed for the door. Just as I was about to open it, a tall figure blocked my path. Remembering my earlier suspicion, I had a very bad feeling. Is he going to ask for a divorce right now? In the next second, the man held out a gleaming, golden black card. You don't have anything scheduled today. Go out and relax. I tentatively reached for it. When he made no move to pull it back, I boldly took the card. It was a global, limited edition black card. Unlimited balance. Spend whatever, wherever. Right now, in all of New York, Julian was probably the only one who had one. I didn't know what was going on, but he was handing it to me. Who was I to refuse? The first thing I did after leaving with the card was call Lily. We gleefully hit the biggest mall in the city, launching into a full-blown shopping spree. After we were done shopping, we went for facials. Lily was floored. You're saying my brother gave you this card voluntarily? I nodded, confused. But I think it's probably proof he feels guilty and wants to get rid of me. You know, butter me up now so I don't make a scene when he asks for the divorce. Lily tapped her chin. I don't think so. When my brother wants something, he just does it. He's not one for beating around the bush. By the way, who initiated it last night? If it was my brother, then you're overthinking this. But if it was you? She didn't finish, but the unease in my heart grew. I tried hard to recall the blurry, heated moments from the night before. Finally, I shook my head. I don't remember. It felt like it was me, but it also felt like it was him. Seeing my defeated look, Lily patted my shoulder reassuringly. Don't overthink it. Maybe it's not as complicated as you're making it out to be. I hope so. After our spa session, Lily and I decided to grab some dessert. Just as we were leaving, we saw a familiar figure in the distance. It was Julian, dressed in a sharp black suit. Standing next to him was a stunning woman with a slender figure and a cascade of wavy hair. They stood there, a handsome man and a beautiful woman, looking like a perfect couple and drawing the attention of many passers-by. Watching them, an undeniable pang of bitterness welled up inside me. At the same time, Lily gasped beside me. Weird, what's Victoria doing back in the country? Victoria? I asked, puzzled. You mean the pianist who went abroad to represent the country in competitions? Lily nodded, then glanced at me cautiously. Are you okay? I shook my head, feigning indifference. Tell me everything. Know thy enemy, and you will not be defeated. Okay, well, she and my brother were classmates in college. They were rivals, always competing. My brother never goes easy on anyone, and after he beat her soundly, Victoria got so mad she left the country. I was confused. But didn't everyone say she was chosen to represent the country? Lily waved her hand dismissively. That was just for show, to deal with the rumors. Back then, a lot of people at their university thought they had a thing for each other. After Victoria left, people would tease my brother that he'd scared off the one that got away. Hearing Lily's story, I lowered my eyes. So Julian and Victoria had this whole romantic history, while my marriage to him was purely a business arrangement. Actually, my original fiancé wasn't even Julian. My parents had arranged for me to marry some guy in our social circle with a great reputation. They praised him for being a responsible family man, but I knew that was just a facade he used to protect himself. In reality, the guy was a hypocrite who played with girls' feelings. I couldn't accept someone like that. Then Julian suddenly appeared and proposed the marriage arrangement to my parents, so I went along with it. Compared to this woman, my story with Julian wasn't just ordinary, it was laughable. Seeing me fall silent, Lily asked, "Are you mad?" "Of course not," I denied instantly. Seeing my reaction, Lily couldn't help but laugh. I flushed with anger. "I'm serious." Lily nodded repeatedly. "Right. Got it." Even if I acted tough, my heart couldn't lie. Even after I got home, I couldn't shake the feeling of listlessness. When I walked in, Julian was already sitting on the sofa. As always, he radiated a noble, unapproachable aura, so handsome it was hard to look away. Seeing me, he quirked a slight smile. "You're back." Looking at the distinguished man before me, I couldn't stop myself from asking, "Were you just on a date? Did you give me the black card just to get me out of the way?" "Well, I can tell you right now, there was no need." And to think I'd been overthinking things after he gave me the card. Turns out this was the reason. As I unleashed my tirade, the man's brow furrowed slightly. "Who went on a date?" His voice was flat, without a trace of emotion. Caught in the act and still so calm. That's a Manhattan elite for you. But I'd already seen what happened. Even if he tried to explain now, it wouldn't mean anything to me. Suppressing the strange feeling in my heart, I tried to keep my expression calm and natural. "It doesn't matter if you were on a date. We agreed when we got married that we wouldn't interfere in each other's lives." I said this defiantly, but the man's gaze remained fixed on me the entire time. After finally getting it all out, I let out a quiet breath and was about to turn and go to my room when the doorbell rang. Annoyed as I was, I still went to the door and opened it. It was Victoria. Great. So now he's cheating so openly he brings them right to our door? Fine, fine. I fought to control my emotions, turned with a dark face, and started toward my room. But she stopped me first. "You must be Chloe, right?" Realizing something was off, I looked at her, confused. Is this how the other woman addresses the wife now? Julian, still on the sofa, looked at her without a flicker of emotion and asked coldly, "What are you doing here?" Victoria seemed used to his demeanor. She nonchalantly took something out of her purse. "Your cologne. You accidentally left it in my bag." I practically snorted. "How do you accidentally leave your cologne in another woman's bag? Just how careless can you be?" Victoria walked up to me and placed the cologne directly into my hands. Looking at the bottle in my hand made my blood boil, but she was so calm. If I showed my anger now, wouldn't I just look petty? I forced a polite smile. "Thanks so much." With that, I shut the door in her face. "I'm the lady of this house now. I have that much power, at least." The whole motion was seamless. After I closed the door, I heard a low chuckle from behind me. The deep, pleasant sound was clearly genuine. I turned around, my voice still laced with displeasure I couldn't hide. "Is there a problem?" He looked at me with amusement, a faint smile on his lips. "Jealous?" The moment the words left his mouth, I shot back, "Of course not. From now on, we don't interfere with each other. Our relationship was just an arrangement, while he and Victoria had a whole romantic backstory." "I get it." Back in my room, the more I thought about it, the angrier I got. I started punching my pillow. "Ha! The other woman shows up at our door, and he asks his wife if she's jealous. Does he think he's God's gift to women, that everyone has to love him? Jerk. I don't feel a thing. You stupid jerk." As I was practicing my combo moves on the pillow, there was a soft knock on the door. Who else could it be at this hour but Julian? I paused and tried to even out my voice. "What is it?" His deep voice came from the other side. "There's a last-minute gala tonight. Want to come with me?" Hearing this, I replied without hesitation, "Yes." No matter what, I'm the wife right now. Julian is still my legal husband, and I need to let certain people know that without my permission, she will never have a chance. At 7 p.m., the gala was in full swing, glasses clinking. When I appeared on Julian's arm, we instantly became the center of attention. After all, people love to look at beautiful things, and a handsome man with a beautiful woman is no exception. Julian expertly navigated me through clusters of business partners, controlling the room with just a few words. He didn't seem to need to do much to command respect. Standing by his side, gazing at the sharp line of his jaw, I felt a little dazed. I had to admit, every single thing about Julian was wildly attractive to me. To be honest, when Julian first proposed the marriage arrangement to my family, I was ecstatic. Back in high school, we went to the same school. He was 2 years ahead of me. I was pretty overweight back then. During that awkward, appearance-obsessed time of life, my weight unfortunately made me a target for bullies. Those days at school were the darkest of my life. I even started to refuse to go because of the bullying. Just when I thought I was trapped in darkness, Julian, my upperclassman, shone like a beam of light into my life. I was cornered by some mean girls outside the bathroom. They were demanding all my money and for me to do their homework when Julian appeared. His cold gaze swept over the girls bullying me. Did your parents send you to school to torment your classmates? Julian was already famously handsome in his school days, respected and admired by everyone. The delinquents, in particular, gave him a wide berth. The moment he appeared, he didn't need to say much. The girls exchanged a look and immediately backed down. Julian didn't mince words. If I ever see you bullying another student like this again, you might find this school is no longer a place for you. He sent them running. In that moment, Julian was the most captivating person in the world to me. He reached down and pulled me up from the floor where I was crouching. His eyes held none of the scorn or disdain I saw in others. It felt like, in his eyes, I was his equal. If you don't want to be bullied, you have to become strong yourself. Once you're strong, no one will dare to bully you. That one sentence inspired me throughout my entire time in school. It's no exaggeration to say that my life changed because of Julian. So when he proposed the marriage arrangement to my family, whatever his initial motives were, we were on the same page. I was staring at Julian's back, lost in thought, when Victoria suddenly appeared before me in a stunning gown. Chloe, we met the other day. You remember me, right? I frowned slightly at her. In front of Julian, she called me sister-in-law, but now she was using my first name. She smiled coquettishly. Seeing my frown, she launched into an introduction. Last time was so rushed, I didn't get to introduce myself properly. Julian and I were classmates in college. Everyone said we were a match made in heaven. I'm sure you've heard that, right? Only someone like me is worthy of someone as high and mighty as Julian. Even though he's with you now, the one in his heart is definitely me. I just smiled at this woman, who was so openly showing her two-faced nature. So this is what they call a green tea bitch, huh? Sweet on the surface, conniving underneath. After she'd said her piece, I maintained my polite smile, unfazed. I trust my husband. She didn't get angry at my response. Is that so? But I heard you had another husband before him. Just as she said, I did have another engagement before, but it was never finalized. I was about to speak when a sharp voice shattered the room's calm. Chloe. Chloe, where are you? Get out here. The newcomer was none other than the ex-fiancé Victoria had just mentioned, Kevin Chen. With Kevin suddenly showing up here, I had a feeling the woman in front of me had something to do with it. Sure enough, a smug smile played on Victoria's lips. Kevin was still yelling, completely ignoring the stares of others. The other guests at the gala began to whisper. Isn't that the guy who was engaged to Julian's wife? They seem so happy together. Why is she still in contact with her ex? This is going to be good. Kevin was acting like a lunatic. If I didn't show myself, he was going to tear the place apart. He kept shouting my name while frantically searching for me. I felt utterly humiliated. But under the circumstances, I had no choice but to appear. I walked up to him, trying my best to remain calm and polite. "Mr. Chen, can I help you?" Kevin's eyes were bloodshot. "Tell me why you suddenly broke off the engagement. What was wrong with me? It's been so long since we called it off. Why is he having a meltdown now?" Besides, I'd done some digging after the fact and found out that Kevin was one of the people who used to bully me in school. How could I ever be with someone who bullied me? Not to mention his character was something I could never admire. I frowned. "Mr. Chen, please calm down. What's past is past. It just wasn't meant to be." To my surprise, my words only made him more agitated. "What do you mean, not meant to be? I think it's pretty clear you're just a gold digger. You just think the Price family has more money and power than mine, don't you? Or were you two already hooking up behind my back, which is why you suddenly broke it off? Our engagement was set first. For you to suddenly call it off, something must have happened. If you've got the guts, why don't you tell everyone here what it was?" I frowned at the crazed, red-eyed man in front of me. If that's how he wanted to play it, then he shouldn't blame me for getting ugly. I took a deep breath, about to tear into him. But before I could say a word, a strong hand reached through the crowd, came to my side, and firmly grasped my own. A faint electric current seemed to pass between us at the touch, and my heart began to pound. It was Julian. He'd had a few drinks with business partners, so he was slightly flushed, but the air of nobility around him was unmistakable. The moment he appeared, he seemed to effortlessly quell the chaos. "Are you looking for my wife?" That simple, powerful question seemed to snap Kevin out of his frenzy. "Between you and me, it's obvious who's the better choice. My wife chose me. Do you have a problem with that? Or you could ask anyone here. Who would they choose between us? Furthermore, I know my wife's character better than anyone. If you wish to slander her, I have no problem taking legal action." His quiet words silenced the entire room. At that point, the gala's security guards had more than enough reason to step in. While Kevin was still in a daze, he was dragged away for disturbing the peace. Watching Julian protect me, my mind went fuzzy again. This wasn't the first time. My heart hammered uncontrollably the entire ride home. I snuck a glance at the man beside me and swallowed nervously. It's over. I think I've completely fallen for him. I spent the whole ride trying to psych myself up to explain things. But he remained silent, dropping the atmosphere to a freezing point. It wasn't until we walked through the door that I finally managed to open my mouth. About what Kevin said back there, I can X. Before I could finish, a strong arm wrapped around my waist. In the next second, his lips crashed down on mine in an overwhelming kiss. He didn't let go until I was breathless and my knees felt weak. His voice had grown husky. "You said I couldn't perform, didn't you? Well, you're sober this time. Let me show you what I'm capable of." I hadn't even processed what he meant before he pulled me close again with a firm tug. Then, a flurry of kisses rained down, this time more aggressive than the last. The whole time, I was dizzy, a tingling numbness spreading through my body. Soon, the room was filled with only the sound of our two ragged breaths intertwining, which gradually faded until only my weak pleas for mercy remained. By the time it was over, it was the middle of the night. I lay on Julian's chest, too exhausted to even lift a finger. As I was drifting off to sleep, I heard his deep voice from above me. "I don't care about your history with him, because I trust you." Hearing those words, a small smile crept onto my lips in my exhausted state. The fluttering in my heart reached its peak. The next day, I woke up groggily. The space beside me was already empty. After getting ready, I went downstairs. A delicious breakfast was already on the table, and Julian was sitting there just like before, smiling at me. "Come eat." That simple sentence filled my heart with sweetness. I nodded and sat down across from him. The delicious-looking breakfast whetted my appetite. Every move the man across from me made was elegant, refined to the extreme, an absolute feast for the eyes. I was mesmerized. Ah. My husband is just too handsome. He looked up at me with a fond smile. Wipe your drool. I subconsciously lifted a hand to my mouth. Nothing. Realizing I'd been tricked, I huffed in annoyance and opened my mouth to playfully bite him. He didn't try to dodge, but the doorbell rang at that inconvenient moment. I snorted. You're lucky. I went to open the door, and it was Victoria again. I instinctively frowned at the sight of her. Victoria, however, had a pitiful expression on her face. She bypassed me and went straight to Julian. Julian, what happened at the gala yesterday had nothing to do with me. I was just a bystander. I don't know why Kevin suddenly showed up. Whatever Chloe told you, you have to give me a chance to explain. I hadn't even said a word, and this woman comes in and starts firing on all cylinders. I couldn't help but let out a cold laugh. Isn't this a classic case of protesting too much? Julian shot her a cold glance, not even bothering to get up. He lazily cleared the plates, his lips moving. Don't come here anymore. His words left Victoria stunned and in disbelief. She opened her mouth to explain further, but he cut her off with a single, dismissive sentence. Do you think I don't know what kind of person you are? Victoria fell silent. After Julian took the plates into the kitchen, she shot me a venomous glare. You just wait. I'm going to tell Mrs. Price everything. Hearing her threaten to tattle to my mother-in-law, I found it amusing but wasn't concerned. I gave her a faint smile. Be my guest. My reaction only infuriated her more. When Victoria left, her face was black with rage. Seeing her like that put me in a great mood. After the gala, Kevin started calling and texting me like a madman. He kept demanding to know why I broke off the engagement. When my family initially refused the marriage, the Chin family didn't have much of a reaction. I don't know what Victoria told him to make him so obsessed with harassing me now. The next time Kevin called, I answered. Taking a deep breath, I let him have it. Mr. Chin, I know I'm beautiful, but unfortunately, I have zero feelings for you, and what's done is done. If it makes you feel better to think I'm the bad guy, then go right ahead. The person on the other end was stunned, clearly not expecting me to be so decisive. After I said my piece, I was about to hang up, but a large hand took the phone from me first. It was Julian. He took the phone and spoke calmly into the receiver. If you call or text my wife one more time, the Chin family business will cease to exist in New York tomorrow. With that, he hung up. With Julian's personal warning, Kevin wouldn't dare to act up again. Looking at this man who protected me unconditionally, a warmth spread through my heart. I suddenly wanted to ask him about our relationship. As the thought formed, I voiced it. What are we? My heart was in my throat as I asked. I was afraid his answer would disappoint me. He looked at me steadily. Husband and wife. So no matter what happens, you have to trust that I will protect you. The last shred of anxiety in my heart vanished completely. I nodded, finally letting myself relax as I threw myself into his arms. Feeling the strong, steady beat of his heart. A warm current flowed through me. The next morning, I was woken up by a series of frantic rings from the doorbell. I groggily rubbed my sleepy eyes and opened the door. Standing there were Victoria and a meticulously dressed middle-aged woman. I recognized her at once. This was my mother-in-law, Mrs. Price. I wasn't very familiar with my mother-in-law. After the wedding, Julian and I lived separately, and he mostly shielded me from any difficult in-law situations. I always thought a healthy distance was the best way for a mother-in-law and daughter-in-law to get along. But I had heard some things about her from Lily. She said my mother-in-law was great. The super easygoing type. Before I could get a better look at her, Victoria stepped forward, speaking with an arrogant tone. Auntie, look at her. She's just getting out of bed this late. And Julian has been supporting her all these years. He's practically worshipping a goddess. I was pretty calm looking at Victoria's distorted face. She was actually half right. On the surface, I was a housewife supported by Julian, but in reality, I had my own little career. I'd been drawing webcomics at home for years. I could cover my own basic expenses without any problem and had built up my own savings. On the surface, I was being kept by Julian. In reality, I had my own career. And all the money he gave me, I donated in our names. Before I could respond to Victoria's comment, my mother-in-law stepped forward and excitedly grabbed my hands. I finally get to meet you. What was happening? Not only was Victoria stunned, but I was also completely bewildered. My mother-in-law pulled me over to the sofa. Julian kept telling me not to come see you so soon, that I might scare you. I'm so happy I finally get to see you today. I told Julian I wouldn't be too emotional and scare you, but he just wouldn't listen. Even though our families arranged the marriage, we never had a proper wedding, and that's always been a regret of mine. Seeing you today, I realize you're even more charming than I imagined. Why don't we take this opportunity and plan one? And don't worry, I might be middle-aged, but I'm very open-minded. I won't get in your way. You young people can plan the wedding however you want. Money is no object. Oh, and for the wedding gift, how does $50 million sound? My mother-in-law was still talking. I was dumbfounded. Victoria was even more shocked. She had brought my mother-in-law here to put me in my place, but instead, she ended up kick-starting my wedding plans. As my heart pounded with excitement, her face was practically twisted with rage. After she finished, my mother-in-law glanced at Victoria, who was still lingering. Her brow furrowed, and her voice became serious. Victoria, we have some family matters to discuss now. If you don't have anything else, you should head home. Victoria was stunned. Auntie. My mother-in-law's presence was formidable. Was I not clear enough? Being dismissed so directly, Victoria had no choice but to leave, however unwillingly. Once Victoria was gone, my mother-in-law took my hand and explained. Victoria is the daughter of a family friend. She's always been in love with Julian, but he doesn't like her at all. When our families mentioned an arranged marriage between them, Julian shut it down immediately. As she spoke, she pulled a photo album from her bag and handed it to me. Take a look at this, and you'll understand. I curiously opened the album. It was filled with pictures of a little girl and a little boy. And the little girl was me. Why did my mother-in-law have my childhood photos? In the pictures, I was smiling happily, clearly not being forced to pose. Seeing my confusion, my mother-in-law smiled. The little boy in the photos is Julian, and the little girl is you. Yes. Julian secretly took all these photos of you. When you were little, we visited your family, and he fell for you at first sight. He took a ton of pictures of you and has been keeping them a secret all this time. I was floored. Julian had a secret crush on me for years? My mother-in-law then told me many more things I never knew. Listening to her, I was filled with a mix of shock and sweetness. Julian came home in a hurry. The moment he walked in, he rushed to my side on the sofa and grabbed my hand. Chloe, I heard Victoria brought my mom here. Are you okay? I pressed my lips together, which only made him more anxious. Tell me, what did they do to you? My eyes locked on his face. Isn't there something you need to confess to me? Confess? For the first time, the ever-composed man had a look of panic on his face. Chloe, no matter what, you have to believe that you're the only one for me. I. Seeing him scrambling to explain, I couldn't hold it in any longer and burst out laughing. I tilted my chin up defiantly. I hear you've had a secret crush on me for a long, long time. What's that about? Spill it. His expression relaxed. A faint blush crept up his cool, handsome face. You know? He explained, his face still red. The truth is, I've had a crush on you since we were kids. I was so worried you didn't like me back. I was afraid that if I said anything, we'd lose any connection we had, so I never told you. Watching his shy confession, I was completely smitten. I loved his face, I loved everything about him. Then why didn't you touch me after we got married? He still seemed hesitant, as if afraid I'd get angry. It was an arranged marriage, after all. I wanted to give you time to accept it. I was afraid of scaring you by moving too fast. Hearing this, I couldn't help but roll my eyes. Well, I dropped so many hints, and you still didn't do anything. He looked blank. Hints? I was speechless. So the cool, handsome Prince of Manhattan really was that clueless. But that's okay. If hints don't work, from now on, I'll just be direct.